he can best be described as a thorn in the side of Oracle. Seth Ravin co-founded Tomorrow Now, the company at the center of the patent dispute between Oracle and SAP. SAP settled with Oracle for $1.3 billion back in November, but Oracle is still going after them. Seth Ravin is the CEO and president of Rimini Street, now a newer company that he founded, and I understand you've reported earnings today. Talk to me about servicing enterprise software. How is business of late?
Sure, Margaret. The business is doing great, and in fact, we're a 5-year-old business now, just reporting 44% growth this year in earnings, as well as a huge increase in number of customers. So today, this is a battle over a $16 billion industry, primarily dominated by Oracle and SAP, which are about $8 billion of that $16 billion. So you're seeing a very, very turbulent fight for opening up a market to competition.
And those maintenance fees are very helpful, I would imagine, to revenue here. The advantage you have is that you offer your services at a much lower price than Oracle and SAP, but you're a much smaller company than those giants. You've got, what, 300 customers? Why is it that you think Oracle views you as a threat?
Well, today, actually, we have hundreds of customers, and over 25 Fortune 500 have already made the switch to our services, as well as 11 of the Global 100. So what you're seeing here is, although we come in at 50% of the price, you have to understand that for Oracle and SAP, these are 90% gross margin businesses. No one in the world has 90% gross margin business. When you look at that kind of profitability that comes off the maintenance stream and accounts for over 50% of their revenue, you'll understand why this is a very turbulent battle. But when it opens it up to competition and we come in at half the price, and you see the kind of customers that are moving over to us around the world, you can understand why this is a battle over very substantial business.
Who is your typical customer?
Well, today we have, again, in the Fortune 500, we could have the AT&Ts of the world. We have Honeywell, the Pepsis. These are very substantial customers. Yes, those are already customers of ours. So you're seeing substantial companies make these moves.
So Oracle calls your business model illegal and corrupt. They're suing you. Truth to that?
Absolutely not. In fact, we filed a countersuit against Oracle for the defamation and for the damages related to those claims. Again, when you look at the amount of money that's at stake, you'll understand why this is going to be turbulent. Every single industry and technology that has ever opened up, whether it was AT&T trying to hold on to the monopoly of the phone system, or when Amdahl challenged IBM, you saw this all over the place. This is a standard part of every turbulent change in technology.
So you see it just as a matter of trying to squeeze out the competition. I want to go through a little bit of history here, and I think we have a full screen we can bring up here, because you've got a history of battling the big guys. We laid out some of that in your introduction. But to remind our viewers, you founded Tomorrow Now, co-founded it, which was a company independent at the time, now a subsidiary of SAP.
Correct.
It was at the heart of that big showdown in the courts.
Correct.
And they did admit to illegally downloading and copying Oracle's software. They were fined about $1.3 billion for copyright infringement. Isn't your current company operating on a very similar business model? Actually,
it's a very different model.
How so?
From the basis up of the way that the service is provided.
But you're still servicing enterprise software.
Absolutely.
Still servicing SAP and Oracle.
Absolutely. And while we're still offering similar 50% off, it's a completely different model. But you have to remember something about the lawsuit between Oracle and SAP. Now, I wasn't part of the defense team on that, but I can tell you that one of the challenges was that both companies have similar practices. They are both giant software companies, and what you saw there was played out in a very different dynamic. So one shouldn't assume, just because there was no contest on the allegations, that in fact those items took place.
In some ways, you're a David versus a Goliath here. You've been locked in lawsuits with Oracle. They're suing you, you're counter-suing, but they're alleging that your business model basically involves stealing, illegally downloading some of their software here. In the case of Tomorrow Now and SAP, SAP was fined over $1 billion for this. Tomorrow Now said, yes, we did illegally download software. Doesn't that hurt your defense in your case now?
Absolutely not. They're completely separate cases, and the choice of SAP, while we don't agree with their decision to concede a case, you have to remember that they were both software companies. They're both the two leading enterprise software vendors. And while one cannot really challenge the other one's policies because they follow similar policies, it creates a real legal defense problem for them. Our case is moving along on a completely different track. We are going to aggressively defend this position. In fact, if you look at our customer base with over 400 customers around the world and with a huge sequential growth between 87% in bookings growth between Q3 and Q4 alone, our customers are clearly voting with their wallets that, in fact, not only do we have 400 of the largest and best known companies in the world that have followed Rimini Street down this path, but these are the largest legal departments in the world that have determined very carefully that, in fact, they have these rights and they are absolutely moving to take advantage of their right to choice.
Yet there's a $1.3 billion mea culpa in here. I mean, Tomorrow Now did say we illegally downloaded software, so that would lend some strength, some could say, Oracle would certainly say, to their case against your business practices now. They say they're very similar to Tomorrow Now.
Well, in fact, if you read the briefings from the court and you read the information that's provided and the over 500,000 pages of documents that Rimini Street has provided to Oracle and the courts, they are very clearly different businesses. Our customers know that. In fact, if you look at the industry analysts and the financial analyst reports, everybody recognizes that Rimini Street is a completely different business, and that while SAP may have made choices in their case that they felt were best for their position, these have nothing to do with the legality of third-party support. And remember, Oracle and SAP both are saying that third-party support is legal. Nobody is actually challenging that. They're challenging the way in which the service was provided.
Litigation's not a cheap thing to have ongoing.
Absolutely.
You want a IPO within the next 2 years, I'm
Absolutely.
told. How long can you afford to fight this battle?
We've actually set aside money, and because we're continuing to grow, even with the litigation, we did a 44% growth this year. This is the demand of the customer base. There is huge amount of demand for our services. Our pipelines are growing at rapid rates. This is a very expensive battle, millions and millions of dollars a year. But you have to remember, we are building a multi-billion-dollar business here, and that's a small price to pay to cross the chasm into being a multi-billion-dollar business.
Well, we're going to continue to watch the battle. Quickly, before I let you go, I want to ask you, you're a very interesting man. You've got an interesting resume. I saw that you, before you got into software, you helped to connect post-Cold War Russian states with defense contractors. What did you learn from that to bring to the tech business?
Well, it was an amazing experience being in Russia right after the Cold War, working with Russian defense contractors and American defense contractors, and essentially, often involved death threats. And when your life is on the line in negotiations, you learn a very different style of negotiation. Everything after that is just money. And I would say that it absolutely preps you for the biggest battles, and certainly the battles that we decided to take on early on with the largest software companies in the world.
So this, by comparison, battling Oracle,
No.
It doesn't make you flinch?
No, not compared to putting your life on the line.
All right, Seth, interesting story. We're going to track your progress.
Thanks.
Appreciate your time.